All right, guys. Today we're going to start talking about working with some shading techniques. So I have three big ideas to kind of go over, and one of them is working with hatching and cross-hatching. So if we take this sphere that's here, we wanted to start to hatch in the sphere a bit, those lines in hatching all go in the exact same direction. We can do it very, very close like this, or you could spread it out a bit and make it a little farther apart. But when we're thinking about doing hatching, that's what they mean by hatching, right? That all those little lines that are all right next to each other, very closely done, all in the same direction. Now, hatching is something that can play into line quality a little bit, like if in the beginning of your hatch you have a bit of a lighter line, but as you get towards the back of the hatch you push down a bit more, it'll give it a very different look, right? And that type of line quality is something to keep in mind when working with hatching, that it doesn't always have to just be a certain way. If I start out lightly and I push a little harder towards the end, I can get a very different kind of line quality out of the pencil, and I make a very different type of a hatch mark, right? Now, other ways of kind of dealing with this exact same thing would be if I started to cross across these hatch marks rather than have them all go in the same direction. How about if we made them cross one another? And as soon as they start to cross one another, we refer to this as, you got it, cross hatching, right? So cross hatching, it's just as easy as working with a hatching idea that's here, except then we would start to cross the lines across each other. And the cross hatching doesn't have to go in some particular direction the whole time. It can cross across here however you'd like it to. Now, besides hatching and cross hatching, right, you can also think about doing things like circularism, right? And in circularism, what we're doing is we're creating little tiny circles, or kind of like little curls, sometimes you might think, and around and around and around it goes. And you have a lot of control over the pencil when you're doing something like this. I'm keeping this very light, but this is a bit of a soft pencil. This is a number 2B. I've been using the 2B to try to make these movies a little darker so they're easier to see on a small screen. And this gives a very even look to it. This is something that I tend to use quite a bit, especially doing colored pencils. I really like using this when I'm doing colored pencils in particular. Now, one of the other things you can really think about too, besides cross-hatching and circularism, is working with contour shading, right? So if we start to really kind of picture in our head what this ball looks like, and then we're thinking, and I was doing a bit of this, I think, when I was doing the cross-hatching up there as well, But, getting the lines to go along with the sphere-like shape is a way of kind of filling it in that gives it a lot of space and helps to define what it is as an object. So contour line shading, right? So we have some cross hatching, and don't forget about, its little brother, hatching. Then we have some circularism here. And then finally over here we have some cross contour shading.